Manchester United will be buying a striker this summer, guaranteed, according to Fabrizio Romano. And we're going to talk about which striker that is going to be, because we have some updates. Make sure you smash the likes. Anyone that comes across and you've just got here, smashing the likes does wonders. Subscribing, if you're brand new, is doing, again, another wonder. Anywho, let's get down into it, because I feel like we've narrowed down our options very much so, and some unpopular opinions, some very much popular, aka Ollie Watkins, not so popular, your Jacksons. You might have seen it in the thumbnail. But if we're going off some reports today from Ollie Whitwell, the first option, which has been ruled out this summer, is Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig. Now, there's many of you that do like the guy, and there's many of us that doesn't like the guy, or not confident about him. Maybe a little bit too much of the Hoyland PTSD. But it came out earlier from Ollie Whitwell that United as a whole, inside, when they're talking about which striker to go for, Sesko's not living up to the expectations. You know, with the price tag of, even if it is 60 million, he hasn't exactly set the Bundesliga alight, and Manchester United have been scouting this man for a while. Now, I don't deny United not having remote interest is the best word, but I feel like the interest is just only interest. So clearly, the man has the talent. If we're thinking about Benjamin Sesko, he's got a lot of likable attributes. You know, if you want a nice long shot from outside the box, sure. If you want someone that's very, very fast, good in the air, you know, running channels, sure. But there will always be that one thing that United have needed for many, many seasons now, is guaranteed goals. So I don't know what you guys think, but Sesko doesn't move me, especially for the price tag. Now, if it's a little bit cheaper, along the lines of the 45-50 million region, you might be able to change my mind personally. But maybe United see this one maybe in the next year, maybe two, see how he develops. I don't believe he's going to go anywhere this summer. He should continue to develop. He's very young, very promising, and he's going to be one of the better strikers in world football, since there's pretty much a good, well, a lack, shall I say, not a good, a lack of them around. Oh, yeah. Anywho, since some of you don't like me saying that, the catchphrase, anywho. Moving on. The other name, and it's going to get narrowed down once more, and it's been rubbished off by the likes of Sam C and others, how unlikely this one's going to be. Now, I have an unpopular opinion. You lot may disagree. Actually, how about this? I feel like many of you may even switch off this video just by hearing the name Nicholas Jackson. It's unlikely United are going in for Jackson on a cash front, but it has been said United are highly tempted by this. Maybe because there could be a potential swap on the cards. They are very, very much interested in Alejandro Garnacho, and he's definitely a want away. We don't want him. Many of you don't want him. The club doesn't want him. How about this? He doesn't want us. But Chelsea seem remotely interested. Jackson, they're trying to maintain a stance of 80 to 100 million. None of us believe that. But he might be a want away. You know, again, Chelsea are not exactly trying to force him out the door. Not what's being said, but I do believe he feels like his future is up at the club. I like Jackson. I like what he brings. But it always comes down to what he does in front of goal, and it's not exactly clinical. And it's like, well, it's very questionable. He's not going to get you 20 Premier League goals. He's just not that guy. Maybe with Mbumo, maybe with Cunha, he could up his tally, you know, not relying on the likes of Cole Palmer to keep feeding him. You know, it could be something. I do think he would fit in the mold, but according to, again, to reports, if it's going to come down to a cash front, he's not United's front runner. So again, it does narrow this down. But if we're going off what yesterday with Ruben Amorim, what he wants and what Manchester United want, and they've had a couple meetings in the last 7 days, well, there's not many strikers on their agenda. Many will say Mateta, but he's got 2 years left. Palace are they're not exactly it's weird to say this as the size they are. They're not exactly in a rush to sell. They're not a selling club like that. It's very difficult to negotiate with, you know, especially with Gay. You know, he had 2 years left. They wanted 70 million for him. So imagine trying to get their striker away. How much they're going to ask for? Gonna have to wait a season and see what happens there. Even with the whole Gay situation, no one knows. Might even leave on a free. So we're going to have to move on from that. But Nicholas Jackson does bring, again, a lot of attributes like Sesko, but a little bit different. You would probably favour him as an inside left forward rather than a striker. But in terms of linking up, it's second to none, no doubt about that. But it's always going to come down to his final third decision, and dealing with Chelsea is another matter. So if United want Premier League experience, then I don't feel like you can't really point your finger to many cases. So if Jackson's the second option, then who's the first? It only leads down to one man, and there's a lot of flirting going on with the idea. I've been very much the front runner of wanting him and convincing others that he's the man for us. But his name is Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins, it's not like this is breaking news. Everyone knows what Manchester United have been interested in. It's just who is the man to go for. Ollie Watkins is the man. Ollie Watkins is who Manchester United want. I believe that United are going in for him at one point, and it's only a matter of days before more stories come out about Ollie Watkins to Manchester United. Maybe there's a bomber where United will approach them for him, and they also have very good relations, so that does help as well. Villa, whether they need money or not is yet to be seen, but they do need to lower their wages due to the UEFA rulings around wage to revenue, something along them lines. It was something at the risk of 90-odd percent, 95%. And now they need to get that right down to 70%. Of course, it helps with Asensio and Rashford leaving, a couple low knees, but they still need to do a lot more. Now, getting a good £50 million fee for him should be something that United should consider, especially if they do want Garnacho and he has flirted with the idea of them and wants to stay in the Premier League. Why can't we do a swap deal with them? Again, it's come on lots of different podcasts about what can happen if 50 million goes one way, 50 million goes the other way. It's pure profit for both clubs. You know, you can stretch the fee out as much as you need, and both clubs are laughing. You know, Ollie Watkins is on 130 grand per week. That's not nothing that United can't afford. You know, if you think about the wages of Cunha and then Bumo, they're on around the likes of 150 to 170. I feel like Ollie Watkins would accept something along them lines, especially if he's getting a brand new... Well, I wouldn't exactly accept a 5-year deal for him, but in terms of 4 years, maybe with an option, an optional one, I can get behind that. You know, especially if it's around 160, 170k mark, it's fair dues. World Cup year's coming up. He's going to want to be in the team, the England squad. Want to impress Tuchel? You know, there's one way to do it. And it's not through Aston Villa too tough. It's always going to be down to the favoritism, which is, of course, the big six clubs and how you do. It's a risk for him because this could well be his last World Cup. You know, in the next 4 years, he's going to be 33 years old, going on 34. So, you know, but the price tag is the price tag. And for a 29-year-old, or is he 29 going on 30, then it's a put for a lot of different people. But it's a major stopgap. And United have had a couple phone calls beforehand in getting, you know, all the details, which was said last week, Friday, Saturday by Fabrizio. So United are well informed. It's just, who do you guys want is the bigger question. But make sure you smash the likes. Likes are super important. Keep going with the subscriptions. If anyone's brand new, you like the way I talk, then happy days. Welcome aboard. I feel like Watkins is the man. There's no denying that. I think he's going to guarantee you 15 goals. He's going to get you a hefty amount of assists. I think he's massively underrated in the assisting department of what he does for a side. Off the ball, he's great. But again, it will always come down to the moments in front of goal. You wouldn't call him the most clinical player in the world. But this is where I need to ask United fans sometimes, you know. Got to be realistic. You know, what's available, you know, fees, outgoings. We'll see what happens there. We don't know exactly. But if you're telling me in one window, and this was, let's say back in May, even back in April, if you told me United are going to swap Garnacho, let's just say Mason Mount, or someone else of your choice, maybe even Xerxes, or I don't know who else, and Højlund for the likes of Cunha, Mbumo, and Watkins, you would call me a madman. Everyone would call me a madman. I'd call you a madman. But what that does for me, that guarantees you at least 50 Premier League goals. 15 apiece through all of them. And on average, I think, of course, someone else is going to get the extra few. And that's not really been the case with United since Ibrahimovic, since Marcus Rashford has just gone to Barcelona, since he's been young, and also Martial. Let alone when we come to Ollie, then we had the Greenwoods and stuff. But, you know, life has to go the way it needs to go. But anywho, who do you guys prefer? Because there's only one man, and he's been chosen. That man's name is Ollie Watkins. But that could all change. Could change in an instant. But I United, just do the right thing. Ineos, do the right thing. Peace.